Former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has described the January 6, 2021, attack on the United States Capitol as an attempted coup and a direct assault on American democracy, accusing President Donald Trump of inciting a violent insurrection to overturn a free and fair election. In a statement posted on her X account on Tuesday, to mark the 5th anniversary of the attack, Pelosi said the events were the culmination of a sustained campaign to undermine democratic institutions, the rule of law and the constitutional principle of the peaceful transfer of power. "5 years ago today, the United States Capitol was attacked in a violent insurrection incited by the President of the United States for one purpose: to overturn a free and fair election and cling to power in clear violation of the Constitution," she said. Pelosi rejected suggestions that the violence was an isolated episode, insisting that January 6 was not an aberration, but the peak of efforts to delegitimize democratic processes and subvert the will of the American people. Recalling the chaos inside the Capitol, she said members of Congress, staff and journalists were forced to flee as rioters overran the building, adding that they were hunted, while the halls of Congress were desecrated. She also paid tribute to law enforcement officers who defended the Capitol, saying many were beaten and left with lasting physical and psychological injuries. Law enforcement officers were beaten, crushed and scarred, physically and psychologically, while defending the seat of American democracy, Pelosi said, noting that some officers paid the ultimate price. Pelosi praised the U.S. Capitol Police and other security agencies for their courage, saying their actions ensured that the constitutional process was able to continue despite the violence. Speaking bluntly, she described the attack as an attempt to nullify the votes of millions of Americans. "We must speak plainly. January 6 was an attempted coup. It was an effort to subvert the will of the American people," she said. She added that the attempt ultimately failed because public servants refused to yield to pressure, threats and intimidation. "On that day, the Constitution held, and we kept the Republic," Pelosi added. However, she warned that the threat to democracy did not end when order was restored at the Capitol. Pelosi accused some political actors of continuing to spread falsehoods about the 2020 election and attempting to minimize or rewrite the events of January 6. She also criticized what she described as efforts to glorify those involved in the attack, including through blanket pardons, which she said sanitize an attack on the Constitution itself and endorse lawlessness. Marking the anniversary, Pelosi said remembrance alone was not enough, calling for renewed commitment to defending democracy by protecting voting rights, upholding the rule of law, rejecting political violence and demanding accountability. "The strength of our democracy lies in our willingness to confront the threats against it," she said. She described January 6 as both a stark warning and a solemn charge, adding that truth must be chosen over lies, courage over cowardice, and democracy over autocracy. She stressed that the future of the country depends on it.